Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Dan. Thanks for watching. Today it's currently 20 past 4 in the morning. I'm just getting ready to go to work and I thought I'd just do a quick video of what happened yesterday. Yesterday I had my Mod 4 CPC practical demonstration, which I'm pleased to say I passed. I just want to talk through what goes on in the Mod 4 and what happens afterwards. So stay tuned and we'll have a look through that. So, as I arrived at the training facility where my training was to take place for my driver CPC Mod 4, they gave me a handout which looked like this. It was just a bunch of questions and answers on the page, questions of which the examiner would have asked me. It was an in-house one, so I didn't have to go to a proper training test centre. What am I thinking? It didn't have to go to a test centre. I managed to the examiner was the boss of the guy who trained me, which was even better because it meant I was a little bit less nervous, so that was good. So let's talk through the questions. The first one is: your fully laden vehicle is ready for you to do delivery. Show me what checks you would do to make sure the vehicle is not overloaded. If you are still in doubt, what else could you do? So the answers for this one, it says on here, are check the paperwork relating to the load and check the load. You can check the VTG6 or the VI plate for the weight. That was on the passenger door, and it told me that the specific lorry that we were looking at yesterday was 12 ton. You can also check your tyres for bulging and make sure if you've got double rear wheels that they're not touching in the middle, not rubbing and not causing any abrasions in there. You can also, if you're unsure, take it to the nearest weighbridge for confirmation. That was one of the questions that I was asked on my test, so I managed to get that okay. Next question is: you have been asked to collect half a load of steel plates on an empty vehicle. I want you to show me, by pointing to the correct distribution area on the vehicle, how the load should be placed. Select the restraining device you would use to select the load. Secure the load, sorry. Show me how you would secure the load with a restraining device and load securing using the load securing trolley. Show me how you would release the restraining device. So you've got to point where you'd put the load. You'd put it against the headboard. You would try and, it's not on here, but you would try and make sure that it's distributed throughout the length of the vehicle. You would select the correct restraining device, which in this case for the steel plates, it would be the chain and tensioner, which is something that they taught me yesterday how to use, so that was quite insightful there. And you demonstrate competence in use of chain and tensioner. Apparently I can't get my words out this morning, it's too early. Then after that you'd demonstrate on how to release it and pack it away. So that wasn't a question I was asked, but obviously we were taught that just in case. You have delivered a part of your load and are left with half a load of empty steel cages inside your box van. Show me by pointing to the correct distribution areas on the vehicle where this should be placed. It should be placed against the headboard. Select what restraining device, so you'd use a bar. That's on the next page. So you put it against the headboard, you use a tensioning bar or webbing strap, you demonstrate competence in use of load. So you demonstrate the tensioning bar, then you demonstrate on how to release the bar. Next question is: show me how to check the maximum authorized mass, or MAM, on this vehicle. You walk around, show them what checks you'd make sure the vehicle is not overloaded. If you're still in doubt, what would you do? So you check the vehicle plate. You could check the loading paperwork, you could check for bulging tyres, and if you're still unsure, you could take it to the nearest weighbridge. Number 5 is: when you're leaving your vehicle, where might you consider parking? Demonstrate and explain what safety checks and security precautions you would take. So the answer that they're looking for is parking a secure, well-lit, reputable vehicle park, ideally with your doors against the wall or another vehicle to stop them from being opened. Remove the keys, lock the doors, make sure your windows are shut, Activate or explain the use of any safety features on the window. Walk around the vehicle checking seals and doors, making sure everything's tight, shut, locked, everything's in the correct position. Next one is you suspect a brake fault on the vehicle. Show me what checks you can make to confirm if the compressor is working properly, and any checks you could make for identifying air leaks. You'd check the air system and air lines, empty the air tanks by pumping the foot brake, restart the engine, wait for the system to charge. Once the buzzer's gone out and the gauges show that they're at an acceptable level, you'd stop the engine, press the foot brake and listen for any leaks. On entering your vehicle for the first time, it's a different vehicle. Show me all the practical and visual safety checks you would do before starting the engine, which I would like you to do. So this is a show me question. You'd walk around the vehicle and you'd show the cockpit drill. So making sure that you know where everything is, making sure that your gauges are correct. You'd do your walk around checks, including audible and visual warning system checks. So you're listening out for air leaks, buzzers internally. You're having a look for anything that's loose, damaged, broken. You're checking all your lights, literally checking every single little thing on the vehicle. You're under the bonnet, you're doing all your fluid levels. You're telling them you're checking the hoses, the electrical equipment, making sure that nothing's damaged. Checking your windscreen, your window wipers, your mirrors, the load security. If you've got a curtain-sided vehicle, you make sure that all of your hooks are in place. Make sure that your safe TIG cords through as well. I think that's what they're called. Making sure you've got enough fuel for the journey. If you've not got enough fuel for the journey, ensuring that you've got money or a fuel card to buy fuel en route. And make sure that you're aware of the vehicle height and dimensions and weight for the vehicle. Next question is, you are parked at the docks and following a rest break, you suspect your vehicle may have been tampered with. Show me what checks you would make around and within your vehicle before continuing your journey. So as you walk towards the vehicle, you'd be checking on top, trying to check from each corner, moving backwards to try and catch anybody that may be hiding on top. You'd check all external compartments, underneath the vehicle, inside the bonnet, in the security of the load, and inside the cab. Place that the DVSA say that quite often needs to be highly checked because it's quite a common thing is the fuel cap. Apparently people like to hide things in there. Obviously you're not going to get a body in there, apparently it's drugs. So check that, see if that's been popped open. Quite often people tie things to the inside of the fuel cap, so it's easy to just pull out straight away when they're passed. So that seems a pretty important one if you're doing international journeys, because if you're found with an immigrant, that's £2,000, and if you've got a full family, it could be pretty poor. If you're parked at a border crossing and you've left the vehicle unattended, show what checks you would make before driving off. So that's the same question as above, just worded differently. So we won't go through that one again. You've had a comfort break and you're just boarding a cross-channel ferry. Show me what checks you'd make to this vehicle before driving through customs. Again, that's the third time that question's come up in the same scenario, so that's pretty much the same. We'll not go through that again. We'll go on to the last sheet, which is you are driving on a motorway and flames appear from the engine compartment. Show me how you would deal with this small electrical wiring fire. Please identify which extinguisher to use on this. Fire. That's the word there. So you'd stop as quickly and safely as possible on a hard shoulder. You'd identify correct extinguisher to use on the electrical fire, CO2 or powder. When I told him that, he asked me which one I'd prefer to use. If you was to use CO2 on a motorway, it wouldn't be very effective because of all the buffeting, all the wind and all the suction, all the other vehicles. Powder would be the best. Although it would make a mess, it would completely cover the fire and hopefully just extinguish it straight away. You would try to isolate the vehicle, whether it be take the keys out, turn the engine off, or if your vehicle has a vehicle isolation switch, you'd isolate the vehicle. You'd make sure that you contacted emergency services, even if you believed that the fire was out, because it might not be. You're about to make a long journey in this vehicle. Show me what checks you would make to the vehicle's fuel system and precautions to take so you do not run out of fuel. So you would check fuel level and fuel cap security, make sure that that's secure. You check the fuel tank and mountings for condition. Take enough fuel card or money to buy fuel en route, or check enough fuel for the journey in the gauges. One question you always get asked is the last one, which I will read now. From driver's seat and externally, show me and explain the daily checks you would make to this vehicle before driving on the road. Now, this question is one that apparently always gets asked, and it has to be asked so you know how to do your vehicle daily checks. So you're going through everything on the vehicle. You're going under the bonnet, you're checking your mirrors, your windows, windscreen wipers, walking down the vehicle, checking the load security, your curtains underneath, checking your exhaust for excessive smoke, checking your brakes, your horn, all your lights, indicators, instrument panel inside the cab. Going out the side of the vehicle, you're checking your tyres, your wheel nut indicators, listening for air leaks all around the vehicle. Obviously, I'd advise anybody that is going to go and do this test to get some formal training from a reputable company that's used to doing it. And most people do pass first time. Speaking to my instructor, they said only 2 people have ever failed it at their place. So that's handy. Whilst you're going through, the examiner will have a sheet like this, and this is what you get at the end of the test, whether you pass or fail. This is the driver CPC module for test report. Unfortunately, I missed out a couple of things on the ability to prevent physical risk, which was classed as the daily walk around check, is what I call them. I missed out that I had to check the height marker, and also there was something else that I forgot as well, which I've forgotten again. Just remembered, I missed out the roll and brake check. So once you've finished all your vehicle checks, you'd get in the vehicle, you'd move it forward and press the brakes. If the vehicle come to a stop, that's fine. If it didn't, obviously you've got a problem at that point. But hopefully you should be going slow enough that you should be able to stop with your secondary brake. Once you have passed, you will get a pass certificate that looks like that, pink, and that's all you need to do. CPC card comes in the post. I currently have one because I'm a bus driver, which looks a bit like this. It's blue in colour. I cover up my stuff with my lovely photo on there. That was when I was a bit younger. Don't particularly look like that much anymore. I spoke to my examiner because I wasn't sure what to do, because I weren't sure whether I needed to send the CPC card off, because at the moment, as you can see, I've got the bus qualifications on the back, but obviously the test yesterday was to add in the HGV class category C and CE qualifications. He's told me that I don't need to send it off to them, that he'll send off the paperwork, then they'll just send me a new card, and I can either send that back or destroy it. I might just give them a ring at some point today just to find out, just for them, because I'm a little bit anal when it comes to information, and I don't want anything going wrong with that, because it is a conversion from a PCV to a category C. So let's say thank you for watching, and I'm hoping now I've done all my tests. I've just got my class 1 to do, so I'm hoping in the next week I can hand in my notice and I can start doing some class 2 work before I start doing my training for my class 1. So I'm hoping the next video will be my start of a new job, which will be in the HGV industry. Thank you very much for watching, and please feel free to subscribe to follow my journey on to class 1 work. Thank you very much.